like hanging out.
Yeah.
The Money Sauce Podcast with your host, Saucy J and G. Money.
And welcome back. It's episode 22 of the Money Sauce Podcast. And we are down to the final round of the regular season. Before we dig into our Breakingish news, how do you feel? When I kind of realized this is it, it feels kind of weird, doesn't it? We've been doing the pod, we've been talking about the
This is it?
PHL.
This is the last one?
It's not the last podcast. No. I just mean that the season's coming to a close. It's kind of like, whoa.
This feels like I got beat with a baseball bat while I wasn't looking. And I got blindsided. That's how I feel. I went into the season so optimistic with my 3 first-round picks. I got 2 third-round picks. So I was expecting good things. And this is going to be my worst finish in fantasy hockey ever. It's just kind of hitting me now. I was joking about the blindsided thing, but I've never finished this low.
You've never missed the playoffs?
Well, I didn't miss the playoffs this year.
No, I know. I'm just asking, have you ever missed the playoffs?
No, I've never missed the playoffs.
No, wow.
No, for the longest time, I didn't finish out of the top 3 or 4.
Wow.
So this is new territory for me that I don't like. You know, after I thought I was in a good position going into the draft. Thought I was at a good team out of the draft, and it fell apart. The goaltending, I could not figure out the goaltending for most of the year. Shesterkin was fine. But finding Dustin Wolf obviously hurt me several times. But I can't blame him for like the playoff performance the last few weeks. This will be my 3rd loss in a row. So, like, I really need to figure out, like, where did I go wrong? I know I kept some keepers I had. I should not have kept Michkov. That blew up in my face as a keeper who I dropped onto waiver wires and is still there. He totally did not perform this year. Sophomore slump, as it may be. Were you expecting, like, a total debrief? Is that where you wanted me to go?
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
I hadn't really prepared for that. I don't really prepare for anything, so it's fine. I think. So the goaltending was a big question mark for me. Defense, it was okay. Like the Cole Caulfield trade looks awful. But I flipped him for Luke Hughes for Sanderson, who has been injured most of the time I've had him.
Fantastic.
Thomas Chabot probably performed just as well as him, and I picked him up off of waivers. But still, that's a pretty good. I'm happy with that from Luke Hughes to Sanderson. It did cost me. I think it was a draft pick included in that, so it did cost me. But I'm content taking him into next year as a 3rd defenseman. So I've got 3 good defensemen going into next year. At least 3 incredible forwards. I'll have to look at not taking a goalie into next year, but that puts me in the same position of like trying to figure out goalies again, which I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Because I think last year I had the same issue. I was trying to juggle goalies, and I had Stolars and Wall for a while, and tandems were relatively new. I probably could have stuck with that, but again, injuries and like trying to fish people off the waiver wire, and it can be, you can get some gems. Don't get me wrong, but it can be tricky. Especially with how goaltending like really changed the last few years, with most teams running a tandem. So it's been tricky to figure out goalies for me. But next year I have 3 excellent forwards: Celebrini, Nick Suzuki, Wyatt Johnston, Cutter Gauthier. That's a potential 4th. Konechny as another one. So I've got some decisions to make going in. So I should have 7 very good keepers.
Sure.
Just amending the strategy, I think. And trying to figure out what went wrong this year um, in a way that I don't want to share with our entire fan base.
Sure, I get that. That's fair.
But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
probably the most honest deconstruction I can give from this season. It's just like
Hmm.
goaltending was a challenge.
Hmm.
Injuries did show up later in the season,
Hmm.
um, which made it difficult. Like Shesterkin was down,
And it's
and Sanderson went down.
you can't plan for injuries, right? You just kind
You
of
can't, no. But
yeah.
like I can't fault. Um, since we're just gonna make it about me for the first 10 minutes, I want to look at something real quick. If you'll bear with me, like I had
Sure.
another unique thing for me this year is I had several players in the top 10, which is insane. Sorry, this looks weird because my monitor is actually behind my camera. I don't have a webcam in my booth. So if I look at all players, show my team. I've got, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nick Suzuki is fourth. Macklin Celebrini is fifth. 6, 7, 8. Wyatt Johnston is 9. I've got 3 players in the top 9.
That's pretty good.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
No one else has that. Paul has 2 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope. He's got 2 guys in the top 11.
Hmm.
Um,
Dave has
so
two
it's
guys in
it's
the top
I've
10.
got like some great. I can't complain about Nick Suzuki's season. Like no one
No,
saw that coming from him,
no.
and he's like trending up. You know, as
Yeah.
like the core of a very talented team on the rise.
Hmm.
Macklin Celebrini still coming up. Wyatt Johnson was a huge surprise, but again, like top guy in Dallas now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Quinn Hughes is on there. So that's I've got 1,
You got
2,
the
3,
pieces for
4,
sure.
4 guys in top 20. So it's really going to be about the draft.
Hmm.
This is yeah. So it's a very important draft for me.
Hmm.
It's unlikely. So the 3 draft picks, it was helpful in that it let me miss, but still hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I had
Yeah.
one draft pick,
Yeah.
it would have been Konechny, who like came on in the last half of the season and had a good season overall.
Hmm.
Um, so I would have missed out on Johnston, and potentially even more devastating would have drafted Dustin Wolf as my only first round pick.
Yeah, that would
But
have been
it helped
rough.
me find Johnston.
Hmm.
Um, but my other picks are going to be gone. So it was a good way to upgrade my keepers. It took me, that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
3 first round picks just to upgrade a keeper.
Hey,
But
but you got there. So, um,
mhm.
I guess it's turned into a retooling season for you.
I am the Toronto Maple Leafs of this league. Ah, no,
No,
God.
no, no, no,
Am I going to lose my job too? I'm not the Brad Treliving. Ugh. I've actually won something in this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. I'm glad to
How do you feel?
how do I feel? I feel like I also have a good core. My biggest problem, in hindsight this year was goaltending, which I think took care of, but
No, I offered you a
it's
huge trade for Connor Bedard.
yes,
Do
you
you
did.
regret not taking that?
No, because Connor Bedard is going to, though, he's definitely without question a keeper. Um, he's going to be around for a
He's
long
no question a
time.
keeper, but like to get 3, I forget what I actually offered you, but he was high. It was 3. It was 3 keepers back.
Mhm.
Because I don't know how else you get a Bedard, a Celebrini. We know how you get a McDavid, but do we really want to go down that path? Um,
Mhm.
you know, so interesting.
Yeah, I, I'm fine. I am confident. Like his season, he was out for a chunk of the year, which is why he didn't, in the end, why they say he didn't go to the Olympics, right?
Well, last year's performance last year probably had a bigger.
Yeah, I think. But I mean, he still came close to 100 fantasy points for me on the year. So even with a good chunk of time out, um, yeah, I'm happy with him. Looks Jack Eichel is probably finally the guy that I hoped he'd be 10 years ago or whenever
Dude,
I drafted
he's
him.
not. Yeah.
Um, so that's been good.
Do you
Wilson
feel like
had
that was a good pick?
what back then?
Oh, like now that you can look back from the last decade,
No, no.
but
He
you hung
had,
in there.
yeah, I hung in there because I was confident that he would get to this point eventually, but and I
Took
had,
him 10 years to do it.
yeah, and I invested all those years of keeping him and all that kind of stuff into it. So
How did he compare to your other? Like, did you drop somebody that performed better just because of his age and his hype? Not hype, but we'll say expectation.
yeah, early on, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. When it came to making that choice with keepers early on, for sure. Um, I had some luck with Tom Wilson having an amazing season. That was
That was huge because like we looked at this before, but he went fourth round,
mhm.
and he was
Something
like the
like
top
that.
rated Yahoo guy for a long time, and all of us were like, no.
Yeah, third round, but still, yeah, the point remains. Um, Markstrom is who I kept from New Jersey, the goalie.
Ooh,
And yeah, but I fairly early on got Wedgwood for him and swapped some picks with Dan. So
was he your worst keeper?
Markstrom,
Yeah, was he the worst guy you brought over to this year?
oh, by far the worst guy this year. I thought you meant like of all time. I
I
think
don't
of
expect anyone to remember that.
I know my worst keeper of all time was Bobrovsky.
Oh,
Um, because the year that he played really, really shitty, and eventually I finally gave
everyone
up on.
thought he was done.
Yeah, and I gave up on him finally. I had to. The numbers were so bad, and I think Marcel ended up adding him, and then he just went off. And and he
You heard
played
you
like a
dropped him.
keeper
Just
goalie again, and yeah, and I think Paul ended up trading for him or something like that. But anyways, captain, right? Um,
yeah, I don't know. I think we
but
might have
that
drafted him.
was a horrible, excuse me, that was a horrible keeper choice because of how poorly he did, and then I just gave him away for nothing, and then how well he did after that. Um,
I think I dropped PK Subban in his sophomore slump. I think I kept him from the first year, and then
okay,
I don't remember. I just remember I couldn't afford to hold on to him anymore.
yeah.
And he went on to do better things after that,
Hmm.
but ultimately didn't become like a. I don't know. He was a top tier guy for a while, point
Yeah,
getter anyway.
for sure. Anyways, I'm optimistic that I'll be competitive again next year. I think I have a good group of keepers here. Let's move to some breaking news, though,
We
because
don't have breaking news on the show, sir.
breaking-ish news.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cue
Thank
the
you for
sound. Cue the graphic. Because there is
uh
none.
do do.
You can't use that.
No, I only did part of it.
Do do do.
So first up, as we've talked about, things are
Look at
changing.
that photo.
I thought you'd like that one.
Look at that face. You just want to reach across the table.
Well, the reason Gary is
Our
smiling,
playoff format is great. Canadian teams are never going to win again.
this time the
That's my
reason
Gary
he's
Bettman impression.
smiling
What
is
about you?
because the NHL GMs have an app. This Um, this spring, as they say, the lineup for each team it has to fit within the salary cap, so there's no more of this stashing guys on the long-term IR and then playing them only in the playoffs. And the GMs now have a, an app that's part of their SAP NHL front office app. So I guess it's an extension to their app.
So it's not like available on the Apple Store.
In fact, I think it might be because apparently it was initially introduced for iPads, but the app has been accessible on iPhone since December.
This is
So
crazy to me.
now my question for this is, what about us Android users? And what if I got a job as an NHL GM tomorrow? My phone, I couldn't get this app
You,
on it.
I don't know. I don't know if maybe there's a policy where you have to have an iPhone because they're more secure. I don't know. But I guess it's not working on your Android tablet,
Yeah.
whatever that is. This is. I don't know, it seems kind of silly to me.
Yes, it does. I
Like these
agree.
people, like at elite levels of like knowing contracts and data and math, and you need like an app. You need a calculator for this.
Hmm.
Like, isn't there someone on your payroll to do this for you?
This
Like to find an advantage for you?
I feel
And
like
now we're just like,
that.
oh, we've got a calculator. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that should be one person's job, right? We're gonna make sure we're
This
salary cap compliant here.
this makes it totally how can I put this? This makes it a lot easier for the league to kind of just be like to close loopholes,
Mm.
because no one's going to get creative and find a way around this because they have an app. There's an app for that,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? Like this is a great way for the league to make teams lazy and to laze them into compliance. You know
I
what I
guess
mean?
so. I guess so. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean,
Like
and it does seem silly, right? It does seem like,
this is why we all use AI. It's like, oh, I'll just AI can write my emails now.
hmm.
It's a similar thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's I don't know. It's funny. It's super helpful. Great for them, but it just seems so silly.
It does. It absolutely does. Well, one thing AI can't figure out, cannot, just to be sure that I said that correctly, um,
Why Brandon
is
Little is a Blue Jay?
oh, that's another discussion.
That's another podcast.
Pete, Colin, we need back on because I got thoughts. But one
They didn't.
thing,
Their first segment should be a money sauce segment
there you go.
where you just phone in.
Um, yeah, what AI can't figure out is who should be your coach. And this is why. And I'll get to the reason why I think this is
Okay.
weird. But earlier, a couple days ago, the Vegas Golden Knights fired Bruce Cassidy and hired John Tortorella as his replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like 8
Did Chat
games,
GPT tell them to?
I guess so. I don't
Is
know.
that where you're going with this?
No, no, absolutely nothing like
Oh,
that. That was just my attempt at a clever segue.
oh, that
Uh,
did not land.
no, I guess not. Anyways, 8 games left in the regular season. And why are you doing this when you are in a playoff spot? I
It
don't like,
seems
and
unnecessarily ruthless.
yeah,
I've been listening to um nothing regularly, but just like over like driving people around or driving myself somewhere, just like clips of what's going on.
mm,
And like people keep talking about how Las Vegas has this like cutthroat attitude towards like if you're not like delivering, then you're out.
sure.
It's like you've got 8 games left in the regular season. You want guys to learn new systems?
and you're
like heading into
in
the
a playoff
playoffs.
spot, and it's not a wild card playoff spot. It's one of the divisional playoff spots.
Right.
So it's not even like you're barely hanging on to the last playoff spot.
And like, how did
Like,
they do last year? Sorry, with this guy.
um, well, I have some stats on that. I don't.
That's a segue, my friend.
Yeah,
Heck
that's the
yeah.
segue. So Cassidy has been a head coach in the NHL for 11 seasons between
Mm-hmm.
his stints at Washington, Boston, and then here in Vegas. As a head coach, he's reached the Stanley Cup Finals twice. He's won it once with the Knights. That was the 2023 Stanley Cup.
Right.
And he's never missed the playoffs as a head coach.
Who? And you're hiring Tortorella?
Who has been a head coach for 22 seasons with the Rangers, the Lightning, back to the Rangers, Vancouver for 1 year,
This
Columbus, and Philadelphia.
this isn't in the
He's
pro column.
he has made the playoffs 12 times out of those 22 years. He's only ever went to one Stanley Cup final, which he did win with Tampa Bay. And of course, we all know Tortorella's reputation, the whole controversial, burns out fast. Players respond to him at first, but doesn't take long for them to get sick of his shit,
But he's
basically.
changed from that. That's like a few teams ago, is it not accurate?
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot less of that with Philadelphia, but there's some of that still in Columbus too, which was where he
Was
was,
there?
what, only 5-ish years ago. So, like,
It You
it
go ahead.
seems extreme. I think Cassidy is proven to have the better record. And I think, granted, Torts has been around a lot longer, so maybe there's a bit of that. But
When did he
like,
win the cup?
when did Tampa Bay win the cup?
Yeah.
So that
His
was,
cup.
yeah, I will pull that up. But it was in, I
You may
think it
not have a
was,
calculator, but we've got Google. Suck it, Gary.
I think it was in the 90s, though, was it? Oh,
It was
2004.
a while ago. 20,
2004.
yeah. So over 20 years ago
Hmm.
was this guy's only success. And you're bringing him in to replace a guy who had success for you. I'll say every year he's been there, getting to the finals. He's been very
So,
successful in modern hockey with this team.
right.
And you're bailing on him for a guy who won 22 years ago and has had no success anywhere he's been at.
So
And
here I can
since.
answer. They lost in the second round last year to Edmonton. They lost in the first round the year prior to that to Dallas, and the year before that, Vegas won the Stanley Cup. So
So sorry, that's Bruce Cassidy's record?
that's Bruce Cassidy's record as a coach in
Okay, so
Vegas.
three
So
years he won a Stanley Cup.
his first year he won the cup. The second year he lost in the first round, and his
Oh, okay.
third year he lost in the second round.
Okay.
Three
Okay, I get
playoff
it.
appearances, first in the Pacific, 2 out of the 3 years for the regular season. So
Last year went to the
very,
second round and lost to Edmonton.
yeah, the team that went to the Stanley Cup final for a second year in a
Right.
row. Yeah.
So
I don't know what else you want from this guy, frankly. Like,
it's the bar for modern coaches is ridiculously high. And I guess because there's this the carousel of them going around because you can't change the players because they have no trade clauses. So the easiest thing to do is to fire a guy after in his like third year.
mhm,
Like the playoffs are hockey's a hard game. The playoffs are so much harder now,
mhm.
and it's so ridiculous to me that you'd cut a guy like this. I get it. He won his first year and hasn't. I'd say those are still successful years, unless your goal is like the cup or nothing. You know, you're
Yeah,
gonna run into like McDavid. Um, like I don't know. It seems ridiculous. It seems particularly ridiculous to replace him with Tortorella.
Yes. I
Like,
think that's the biggest, like, it, I mean, obviously it depends who the name is, but like, I think that's the biggest thing that makes this jump off the page to me is like, of all the people, if you're gonna do this, of
what?
all the people,
Yeah, what is he gonna give you that, like, if you don't have someone else waiting in the wings? Like, what Tortorella brand hockey, has that been successful? You just want him to get really angry and make Mitch Marner cry a bunch? Is that your goal here? Like, it just seems bizarre to me. Um, like, I would question almost any team hiring Tortorella at this point.
oh, me too.
But like a playoff team, uh, I don't know. I don't know. And I get that he hasn't had a great
So
record lately, but I don't know.
let's put this into context too. The last three seasons, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25, until he was fired, when he was with Philly, they were they did not make the playoffs and they were sixth and seventh in their division.
Now they were rebuilding,
Okay,
right?
sure.
So I'll give him that. But
Before
that's
that,
like the only place I see him working. Is like, well, we don't expect to win, so we'll just hire this guy because he has experience, and that's it.
I'll
You know,
say this. Okay, I'll give Tortorella this. He was in Columbus for 6 years. Seems to be the longest besides for his Tampa Bay run. Um, he missed the playoffs the first year he was there and the last year he was there. But four playoff appearances in a row is like the height of the Blue Jackets' success. I am certain without looking up their full history, they have never made the playoffs 4 years in a row outside of this block while Torts was there. Now, granted, they were all first round losses with the exception of 2018, 2019, which was a second round
ridiculous.
loss. But but that's as good as it's been for the Blue Jackets, right? Um, Also to note, they finished either fifth or fourth in their division every year during those years. So it's not like they were dominating the division and burning out in the playoffs.
Mm.
They were squeaking into the playoffs every one of those years. But yeah, I don't know. I think you get where what I'm saying here, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. The timing doesn't make sense. The
Who's the GM
replacement.
in Vegas right now?
The GM is Kelly McCrimmon.
Who was the first GM there? Do you remember? It's from Was
It
it the guy from
was,
Washington?
yeah, George McPhee.
George McPhee.
Yeah, and
When did
he's
he
so
did he
this.
retire?
Um, Hold on. Kelly McCrimmon took over in 2019. George
Oh.
McPhee is the president. I think he became the president of the Knights. I'm just
Hmm.
looking it up here. McPhee resigned as the Golden Knights GM on September 1st, 2019 to let Kelly McCrimmon have the job, but continued to serve as the president of hockey operations. Yeah. So that's what it is. He just took a better position or whatever, better title with the Knights. So that's why. That's kind of like the what did the Raptors do with Masai? They made him the president, and then they had I don't even know. I shouldn't choose basketball as the sport to reference when I'm not well versed in basketball, but they had somebody else be the GM, even though everybody seems, or from my understanding, everybody thought Masai was still really the guy that was making the moves, right? I have a feeling this is the same kind of scenario. Hey guys, Jeremy jumping in here. just wanted to let you guys know that I came across a tweet from John Shannon after we finished recording. Essentially, the deal for John Tortorella is that he has signed a contract with the Golden Knights to coach the 8 remaining games of the regular season and the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs. Any decision in terms of his coaching future beyond that has not been decided. So Garrett and I had the whole conversation last night, but he only signed for the remainder of the season. So it just baffles my mind even more. But I just wanted to jump in and add this to the podcast because I thought it was important information that we didn't know before. Okay, back to the pod. That's not even the biggest news of the week.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. We're gonna dig into this one because everybody else has too. We should too, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember where you're going now.
The Leafs fired Brad Treliving 2 days ago. So he was hired in 2023. They had back-to-back playoff appearances, and then this season happened. And I mean, we've talked a lot about why we think this season has gone the way it's gone, losing Marner, the attitude of the players, et cetera, et cetera. But
Could this season have gone any worse for them?
I doubt it. I mean,
I think you're right. I think this is the darkest timeline for the Toronto Maple Leaf season because they're on
so
the verge of giving Boston the best possible pick they could,
yeah, you've read my mind where I was going to go with that.
and their their captain got injured with a gross knee-on-knee hit in
Hmm.
meaningless hockey time.
Yep.
Um, to give him time to question where his future really is.
Yep.
Uh, Nylander giving people the finger.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
obviously bailing on the. Oh man, yeah. I'm trying to think of how this could be worse.
it's been a mess. Just put it in just a couple words. Um, there's lots of different things coming out of this though.
Okay.
Let's start here. Um, your
Oh, the
friend
data
Keith,
centric thing.
yeah, your friend Keith Pelly doesn't believe that the Leafs need a complete rebuild.
Oh, so
He
I listened. Did you listen to the press conference?
I listened to as much as I could stomach. Yeah.
It was just a buzzword salad. He used so many words to say absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I think,
Except maybe this. The next
yeah.
GM has to be data centric and like analytics
Yeah.
focused guy. I'm like, what team doesn't have this department set aside right now? Who's not using data?
I guess the Leafs. And
Maybe.
maybe the Knights when it comes to coaching.
Maybe.
But
Was Jason Spezza the data guy and freaking Dubas took him with him? That was the
maybe
problem.
that's it. Maybe that's it.
Tree Living's like, what do I do? There's no data department here. Better trade my first rounder for Scott Loughton.
Um, I I like I like this part.
What part is that for the people listening at home?
The 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 data centric part that we're talking about right now, that they want to lean into that and I guess embrace the future or the current is probably a better way to say it. The rest, though, to your point, is just it's fluff. He's, I guess he has to
Can
say
I?
something,
Yeah, that's his main job
right?
is to fluff, the
But
fluffer of the people. Um,
but
he's talks about a complete rebuild of MLS or not MLS, Toronto
uh,
FC.
yeah, which actually is
Have you
not
followed that
accurate. Yeah,
at all?
yeah.
I haven't as much as I would have liked to.
Okay.
Um, but just like the way I absorb news right now
Oops.
isn't conducive to Toronto FC news, unfortunately. because it's
Okay.
just like whatever I hear on the radio shows while I'm doing other things.
Hmm.
So I'm not familiar exactly with what's happening at TFC, other than the coach they hired was a former player,
Yeah, Robin Fraser.
Robin Fraser. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, he's
They
been
did not
around.
do very well last year, correct?
No, but last year they weren't expected to do very
Right.
well
Fair
because they
enough.
were stuck in the position with the Italian designated players that they had signed a few years ago. Um, that
Well,
eventually they just bought them out towards the end of the year, but they were in the position that they were trying to sell them or trade
right.
them or whatever, and that just never came to fruition. But Robin Fraser has been in charge. Well, he was an assistant from 2015 to 2019 with TFC,
He's been
and
around for
then
a while.
he went to Colorado as a head coach for a couple years, and then came back here
Had
to
some success
Toronto.
there.
Well, Colorado's yeah, Colorado's one of these like stock up on young players kind of teams, so they go up and down really quick.
I see.
When they have someone to sell, they sell it. But
Right.
he posted something like the best start, 20 game start of the season for the Rapids in their head coaching history or something
Okay.
like that.
So
So he had some success for
a
sure.
fun stat.
And he's a MLS guy. Like his
Right.
playing career was primarily MLS. He was in a U.S. international for a bit, and his entire coaching career is all MLS as well.
Right. We would have seen him back in the day, right?
Oh yeah, I mean I think towards the end of his career for sure. Yeah, we would have
Well, I
seen
hope it
him.
does well. But anyways,
Yeah.
so you're saying that
So
he's mentioning a complete rebuild at TFC, and that's not even true, according to what you're saying.
I don't think it's
I don't think it can be true
yeah,
over
I
a
think
season and one full season. That's not a complete rebuild. You need a few years to get draft picks and develop those kids,
so. What
right?
Yeah, what I think it would be fair to say about TFC is they have completely stripped the team of the big contracts on players that weren't performing.
Mm-hmm.
They've brought in a couple less pricey, bigger domestic kind of names.
Okay.
Um, and I think they're doing more of a not trying to take a swing for a player that has been a big success in another country and try to do more of a
Right. Right.
MLS,
I see.
type build. They are doing better this year already,
Well, that's not a high bar to
but
climb,
yeah,
to cross.
exactly. Exactly. And they did bring in the American striker whose name escapes me right this second that was over in England. So, that's always a sexy move for MLS, right?
We love bringing in English strikers. Still have my Jermaine Defoe cup.
Nice. Nice. So I don't, all that to say, I don't think that the rebuild is complete with TFC.
It's a completely disingenuous thing to say.
Yes. Yeah,
Hey,
I
we just
think,
completed a rebuild. Or you just like stripped your roster down to the studs, stripping it of any large financial liabilities, is what you're
yeah,
saying. So
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Which is sort of like the
There,
C suite, I'm sure, loves to hear.
sure.
Great, we're not going to lose as much money on this. Do that with the Leafs too. Awesome. All using data
Um,
combined with culture checks. What is a cultural check?
yeah, I don't really know what the heck that is. Um, I'm assuming they're saying everyone's getting along in
Is it
the
like a
room.
safety check?
Yeah.
A
Seat
wellness check?
seatbelt on. Yes, we're good to
Yeah.
go. Anyways, it's a lot of fluff. That's to go back to that.
Every single decision that we will make will be evidence based.
Well,
break.
it should have been it already, if you ask me. Um,
Evidence-based decisions are never wrong, usually because they're, with hindsight. That's not to say there's not room for the heart. That doesn't mean there's no room. Oh my gosh, I can't.
yeah, yeah, let's look at something else. Tavares was apparently shocked at this firing.
I think if we can stay on a little bit, I think the timing is shocking.
Okay.
Um, because you let him run the trade deadline, which I
Hmm.
think was fairly unsuccessful.
Yeah, there wasn't much. I wouldn't say it was a
We'll say
failure.
underwhelming. Underwhelming.
Underwhelming, yeah.
It remains to be seen if it's successful, depending on who the team drafts now, with the resources he obtained.
Right.
Um, so it's I forget where I was going with that. I got
The timing.
sidetracked with the unsuccess. The timing. Thank you.
Yeah,
So he was in charge of your trade deadline,
for sure.
but you don't want him in charge of the draft naturally. So it's just like you probably should have done this before the deadline, probably into the new year, probably before the break, right? I guess like if
Mm.
Treliving hits the trade deadline out of the park, does he still have a job?
I have to
I
assume
don't
the
think
answer is
so.
yes.
Or you think so?
I have to assume based on the way this has gone, but like from what I understand what happened, and this is me saying that I've listened to Nick Kiprios on the radio. Um, he apparently said that the Leafs started their like end of season interviews early this year, like a week or so ago. And
Okay,
after the Matthews injury, and I guess the writing was on the wall.
right.
And I guess the idea was that they wanted to get ahead of getting rid of people so that when the off season comes
They're ready to go.
and no and the other people get fired and whatever, they have the option to go grab someone as opposed to having someone firing them at the same time everyone's firing and maybe missing out on someone. This is like an undercut pit stop in F1 where you're doing it a little early to hopefully have better results in the end.
Mm.
That's kind of how I understood what he was saying. Um, but I don't see why they couldn't just let this go to the end of the season.
Well, you've got to have someone in there to prep for the draft
Okay, but
because it feels like they're ready. They're trying to make some moves. They're trying to prep for that if they're doing exit interviews early,
okay,
you know?
but I highly doubt that they're going to have someone in place for the draft. Do you agree?
Well, I think they have to. You can't have somebody, well, I guess maybe if they don't have a first round pick, maybe you don't need somebody there. Maybe he's like an interim can run it. But this is like an important draft. This is your first draft of a rebuild.
Yeah.
I think you want to try and do something here, even if you're limited, right?
Hmm.
Um,
I guess the other,
depending on if you get your pick back or not. Like it's still, I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you don't need someone in there, but I would think you want to get someone in there as soon as you can to start this rebuild as soon as you can. Someone who's got a vision to.
retool, not rebuild.
I don't care what buzzword he uses. He can. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. No, I,
Well,
I think you got to have someone there. I don't know if he still has his job. If he hits, maybe he does. Because like the thing is, like they weren't completely out of it at that time too, right? Like heading into the break, they were on like a winning streak, if I remember correctly, and there was a lot of like high hope when they came back to like make a push to sneak in,
mhm.
which they obviously did not do because they
No, and
did
here's
not
something else
care.
we should note.
Yeah.
They don't have a pick until the fourth round.
Is it
I'm
that late? Well, they
I'm
might get their first round. Maybe they don't need a GM then. Maybe
yeah,
they can just have like a cardboard cutout. Um, I
that's
don't
what
know.
I'm seeing online here.
No, I think you're right. Didn't they get? No, they must have got some. They didn't get any picks back at the trade deadline for this year.
Fourth
That's
round pick
shocking to me.
acquired from Seattle in the Bobby McMahon trade. Conditional fifth round pick from Colorado, but they traded away their fourth round pick to Boston in the Brandon Carlo trade. They traded
Right.
around the second round pick to Chicago with the Jake McCabe trade. And obviously, we know Boston has their first round pick this year, unless it's a top five selection. So, yeah, maybe they don't need a GM in place for the draft because let's call a spade. That deep into the draft, it's more more luck than it is earlier on. How's that? Is that a fair
I think
statement?
that's fair.
Yeah. Um, I'm going back to this article quickly though. The former captain added, it's shocking. I think
Ugh.
whenever you receive the news, it's shocking and you're just disappointed. What exactly about this is shocking to you, John Tavares? That's what I want to know.
I think the time. I think you're like if I
The
don't know if
timing
you're a
of
player and you're kind of in the hockey bubble.
mhm.
It's probably
You're-
does feel quite shocking. Where it's like your GM's gone now. Like the season's not quite done yet, but they're axing him in the middle of the end of the season. Rather like you said, rather than just like letting him ride it out. And the season's done. Okay, Brad, thank you for your time here.
yeah.
Time to move on. So that part of it's shocking, I'm sure. And like
Mm.
for John Tavares, like Treliving probably sold him on some sort of vision to get him to
To stay, yeah.
stay. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure he wanted to stay to begin with,
Sure. I
but I'm
mean,
sure I don't know if he would have stayed if he felt like the season was going to be the dumpster fire that it was. So maybe he means shocking, just like overall.
maybe.
But
They also talked to Berube, and he says, uh, I
it's a
don't think,
shock that he got canned before Berube.
yeah.
Like normally it's
Well,
the other way around.
normally, yeah. And Berube, of course, he says, I don't think about my future in Toronto. I mean, I really don't. You probably think I'm bullshitting you, but I'm not. I feel for Brad and his family, but it was difficult to receive the news. Um, but that leads into, like you're saying, and like this says, Berube, his future is unclear.
Well, it's
Shocking, but like,
the thing is, if Treliving's gone,
yeah,
a new guy could come in and
the
be like,
new
well, if he
guy,
starts with a new coach, if he gives
they
Berube a
always,
chance, that extends the GM's life because the GM can be like, well, he wasn't my guy. Let me bring in my guy, like the typical pattern that we see, right?
yeah,
So like Berube could be his shield for a little while, and if you really want to start from scratch and really get like a good culture that you say you want, like who better than Berube to kind of instill that in them? You know what I mean?
yeah, I can see where you're
So
coming
I
from
can
for
I can
sure.
see that argument. I don't know if Berube wants to stick around for a rebuild, but at the same time, it's to me it's not a foregone conclusion that he couldn't come back. Um, as I said, it gives the new GM time
Mhm.
in his role.
Sure.
But yeah, what are your thoughts?
The the thing you always hear in the sports media is the GM wants his guy, right? The new GM will want his guy. If the new GM is going to want his guy, what's the point in keeping Berube?
Well, I you hear that the
I
GM. I think like the GM always brings in their guy
their guy, yeah,
after the first guy doesn't work out. So it
yeah,
just kind of extends their life as GM,
sure,
you know?
yeah, yeah. No, and that's a fair argument, and
But you're right.
I
If
get
like
it.
if he wants to bring in their new guy, like why bring him back? But
Yeah. I guess I also don't see any need to get rid of Berube, excuse me. Um, he was clearly brought in here because they thought highly of him. He did a good job in St. Louis and all that, winning their only
do you
Stanley
feel like
Cup.
he had an impact on
Like,
this team last year?
I don't know. Like it last year was more of the same. And I know the argument of they lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions in the first round, and I don't disagree with that. But they have gone through GMs, they've gone through coaches, they've gone through all of that, and the results are still the same. I think the issue, like we've talked about, is the attitude of particularly Nylander, but the star players on this team, maybe outside of Tavares. Um,
Ah, Tavares. He got
and
done so dirty. That's another episode.
and I think the real answer to this is you can shuffle the deck chairs as much as you want. The fact of the matter is, even the excuses or the grace that we've given them in terms of we've made the point about the salary cap not going up because of the
Right,
COVID
right.
stuff, all that kind of stuff, all that grace given, all of that stuff. The end of the day, the I think it's obvious that the answer is the players. And I don't I don't care to if Berube did enough or didn't do enough or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it would have mattered either way. So I don't think I can answer that question um, because I think it's moot in my mind.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that's where I'm at with it. If you ask me what should be happening here is Brube should still have a chance. Treliving still should be there, and they should be getting rid of Nylander and Matthews. And like,
Well, Treliving gave Nylander his contract, so that's on
mhm,
him, and he can't do anything with.
well,
Right? He's not going to bench him.
yeah, yeah, no, he's not. But
Good.
um, I still think that the proof is there that it's the core players and they need to they and the best one that they
Can players
had.
change though? Can you change players?
I don't
Like
see
it's
why
hard to
you
know without actually knowing these players. You know.
right. I have to think that it's possible. So then again, am I going to contradict myself a bit here? Probably. But so then did Treliving do enough to make a tell these players they need to change, try to make a change, or were they just too nicey nice because these are our big stars kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I realize I just contradicted myself a bit there, but I don't know. I I know you feel differently about this team. I think you feel differently about this team. I feel like you feel that this has been the best Leafs team of our lifetime.
I
Is
think it's
that
been the most talented team of our lifetime, hands
mm,
down.
hmm
I don't even think that's an argument.
Okay, maybe yeah, most talented, yes, I guess. That's not how I'm trying to say it. I
Ooh, I
guess
guess you
what
could
I'm
make
trying
the argument: are they the most successful
they're
in
not.
our lifetime?
They're not.
Not based on playoff performance,
No, not based on playoff
based
performance.
on points. regular season
Yeah,
performance?
I mean, based on that, they are because I just off of memory, I remember hearing them breaking all sorts of regular season
And they had the benefit of
records.
overtime losses
Hmm.
to help them with that.
Sure.
Um, but it's
I,
an interesting case. They will always, this core will go down as the underachievers of all time.
yeah,
Playoff
no doubt.
format, salary cap, like all the things we've talked about
Hmm.
are still true, but their reputation, like this is what they're going to be known for.
Yeah.
Which is, it's tragic to me for John Tavares because he was just like a hometown boy, wanted to come back in his prime and lead this team to greatness.
Yeah.
And
And
unfortunately for him, it didn't happen, and he had to graciously give up his captaincy.
which is bullshit
It proved out to
but
be that way. I mean, at
yeah.
the time, it's like, well, this guy's winning Rocket Richard trophies and Hart trophies. How is he
Hmm.
not the captain? But
There's something to be
he had it.
said for being a leader too.
No, I agree. I agree.
It's not about
In
individual
hindsight, it's
stats.
100%. Like,
Yeah.
what a classy guy.
Yeah.
Um, but
You
yeah,
know what? Honestly, it's not going to happen now, and it would be stupid to do it now with Matthews out anyways, but I think they should reverse that decision. I do, honestly, I
if
do.
Matthews leaves, here, John, here's the C back.
No, no, I mean like because he's out injured, it's not the time to do it now, but I'm saying like next season he comes back and they say, okay, you know what, Tavares,
No, you can't do that.
why not?
You can't. He
Okay.
makes your team look ridiculous. You stand by the guy.
Oh, you
You
know,
picked him.
everything else they've done doesn't make them look ridiculous, but this does.
Yeah, this was like another level of, that
Yeah.
would be another level
Okay.
of ridiculousness, leafiness.
Well, okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Um, I guess that brings us to the last thing I have loaded up here about this whole thing is so Chris Pronger, yes, Chris Pronger was on the latest edition of NHL at the Rink podcast.
Never heard of it.
It's no money sauce, that's for sure.
It's the only one that matters. When
It, Popcorn
the
Major
yet to
League
be eaten is same,
Overview.
yeah, the
P-
PMLO, the
Um,
PMLO,
the
PMLO,
peep. Anyways, his two
PMLO,
cents is
PMLO.
that he was kind of non-committal on giving an answer about this, but he seems to think that you know
What?
it's probably time to move on from Austin Matthews if I'm reading between the lines here.
So an NHL executive, is weighing in on the idea of Matthews leaving the Leafs.
Hmm.
That seems a little
It's
bit
it's very,
conflict of interesty.
well, it's very non-committal.
All
He
right,
does
what's the
the
actual
whole
quote here, Sauce?
So they've been trying to get this thing over the finish line and moving prospects and picks over the last 5, 6 years as this core has now gotten into their prime, into their window, and they just haven't been able to get it done. Whoever goes in there is going to really have to button things up quickly and figure out what is Matthews going to want and what about Nylander. All the guys have no movement clauses. You're going to have conversations with them to figure out what the expectation is for the team. You may have a few hard conversations and be like, we need to move off of you if that's the plan. This thing can go in 3 or 4 different directions based on some of these conversations, but whoever goes in there is going to have to do those very quickly. I don't know about you. I mean, like I said, that seems non-committal,
Yeah,
non-answer-y, but the fact that he immediately goes to, you're gonna have to go in there and make up your mind right away, basically,
hmm.
seems to me like if I'm reading in between the lines, I don't know if you agree or not, that he's basically saying like the new GM either needs to get rid of these guys or like commit to them forever, basically.
I think that's, yeah,
And
common knowledge. That's what a GM does. figure out who to commit to, who to move on from. Sounds like he's angling for the job.
Maybe. I obviously think they need to move on from Matthews.
How though?
I'm
How do you move on from a Hart Trophy 69 goal scoring guy
well, yes,
who has no movement clause? Like, what
yeah,
do you get back for that?
yeah, you're right. Because he then dictates how much they get back, basically, right?
Well, like the Quinn Hughes thing people seem pretty happy about
Mm-hmm.
that return,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like a case of he wanted out. I guess it did. Was it not public information at that time? Surely the
Yes.
league must have known. Like
Yes.
this guy
Yes.
wants out.
Yes. Yes. I
Um, yeah. So maybe you do get a return, but you're like I don't know. It's so hard to close the door on this. They should be in their window. This should be
yes, they
prime
should.
window season. We shouldn't be out of the playoffs.
Yeah. And part of
Even
the
if you
issue
squeak in
too.
because you're tired, but like it's so demoralizing. Like, how do you build a winner in the NHL? Leave us a note in the comments below to
To let us know
how
how
to
to build
win.
an
Let us
NHL
know.
winner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Um,
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash that notification bell.
I think the bigger issue, to give you not an answer, but to speak to your question, I guess, is like we just talked about a couple minutes ago. They have no draft picks. So unless you're going to get
You can't
a
mess this draft up then.
F ton of draft picks next year, because they're not going to get it this year.
That's like next year is your tank year.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
you're right.
The breakneck speed at this dumpster fire is just oof.
Yeah. Um, it might be impossible to move on from him.
I think it is.
Yeah. Without like
Which is why I
just,
guess Keith Pelly's talking about a retool.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
This is a pickle.
yeah. I don't envy anyone who takes that job, let me put it that way.
I I think it's gonna be a popular job. Like no one's gonna everybody's available is gonna want this job.
Sure, of course they are. But and that's actually the next question that um, you know, who's out there? I mean, this is obviously going to change as
Jim
the
Neal
off
just
season
signed a
comes.
extension with Dallas.
Yeah.
So he's off the market. I think he was
Uh,
a front runner. Doug Armstrong is still under contract to St. Louis in like an advisory role to Alexander Steen. Alex
okay.
Steen. So I don't know how on the
Yeah.
market, off the market he is.
Uh,
If Edmonton gets eliminated from the playoffs, Stan Bowman's probably looking for work.
yeah, probably.
Um,
Um,
who else?
I mean,
You want to ask your research calculator?
yeah. Barry Trotz stepped down from Nashville, right?
As the president, yeah.
But maybe he'd be interested in being a GM. I don't know. That's just me thinking of names.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, this, according to this, currently an assistant GM in Boston is Jamie Langenbrunner. Um, apparently he's a top candidate as an NHL GM. Okay, so obviously I'm Googling this, so you're going to get the Google AI overview, right? Of these candidates that they list, and I'll run through them quickly. Almost all of these have had some kind of a tie to the Leafs. So
All right, so what does your AI say? We'll compare AIs.
Doug Armstrong, like you mentioned,
Yeah,
Mike
I'm using
Gillis,
Grok, by the way.
Mike Gillis, who's, already like no, he was Vancouver's GM, right? That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, okay, sorry. Brandon
Pridham, yep,
Pridham.
I'm seeing that one too. Leafs assistant
He's
GM.
he's the cap specialist and assistant GM for the Leafs. So he's the guy that the app is replacing. So maybe he'll need a job.
He needs a new job. That's hilarious.
There's Jamie Langenbrunner, Ryan Hardy, who's assistant GM of the minor league operations for the Leafs. Haley Wickenheiser, also in the Leafs front office.
Oh,
And
I don't have
uh,
that one in my AI list.
Mark Hunter, who been there, done that.
Yeah, I don't think he'll come.
Doug Wilson, who's a senior advisor with Pittsburgh, but apparently has been mentioned with rumors to return as a GM for a while now. So
All right.
that's what my AI popped up with.
So, Doug Armstrong, Brandon
Yeah,
Pridham, Mike
yeah,
Gillis.
yeah.
The one your AI didn't have,
Hmm.
Chris Pronger.
Who's with
Hall of Famer,
Florida?
former Panthers advisor. Oh, he's
Oh, I thought he
currently
still
no,
was an advisor
no,
for
he's
the
with the
Panthers.
NHL.
Okay.
I think isn't he the discipline committee?
Oh
Maybe I'm
no,
wrong.
isn't he like on Amazon's NHL coverage now or something?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, well,
Emerging name with fresh buzz, former rugged D man brings intensity and leadership presence, similar to past Shanahan vibes. He's done safety advisory work in media. Yeah, okay. Other notable names: Mark Hunter, Jason Spezza.
as a GM,
Maybe. Well, it says other notable names
okay,
frequently mentioned. He could. He's got ties to the area, as we know.
yeah,
Worked there before. Sonny Maeda, Panthers assistant general manager.
okay.
You said Doug Wilson
Doug Wilson, yeah.
and Bill Scott. So I
Who's
don't have Jamie Langenbrunner. There he is. As a footnote in this one. All
well,
right, let's ask. All right.
why would he want to leave Boston? He already is making the Leafs
He
draft
already
pick.
has their picks. Yeah, he's already choosing for them.
If anything, oh man, yeah.
Well, if we want to be data centric, AI is data heavy.
Mhm.
It says Doug Armstrong stands out as the strongest overall fit. Proven track record, Ontario roots, alignment with Leafs needs. You probably, you know what, you probably go with Brandon Pridham in this as like an interim role. Because like you said, they have no picks for this draft, so it's almost meaningless.
Mhm.
Unless
Yeah,
you're
there's
wheeling and dealing, but like you can trade Matthew Nyes, you can trade Easton Cowan for picks. Like,
yeah. I mean, you know what you have with those guys. You don't know what you have with fourth and fifth round draft picks, or second and third if they command that kind of value. So it's almost like, why bother? You know?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll keep following it, obviously, with interest. But
Very closely, nose to the ears to the ground.
this is interesting. We had some playoff action in the PHL though. Remember that league that
What?
yeah,
The what now?
yeah. The one that we're no longer taking part of the festivities.
Getting destroyed in week after week.
Um, it was the semifinal round, and we had Rick and Paul face off against each other. Final score was 84.72, 61.74 Paul. Paul took the lead early in the week, and he never really looked back. I don't think Rick ever ended up passing him, so it was all Paul. So our hope with Rick going through, it ended unfortunately. Darren Radish for the third time this year, 7.7 points, got the player of the week for Rick. He cycled through four goalies to try to make this work.
Good for you, Rick.
You know, you put in the old college try, so I'll give him credit. But as you can see, Sergic, I cannot say this guy's name.
Sergachev.
Thank you. I've struggled with that all year. 11.2 points player of the week, and he had McDavid over here. He had, I guess, Nico over here, just on 8 points. He had Jack Hughes, and he had Jake Gunzel, I believe. There it is. They all were over 8 points. So his players came to play. Paul was not messing around this round.
Oh, there was a time where he was going to drop Sergachev and keep McAvoy,
Yeah,
which I was banking on. I moved my original first round pick for Jonathan Huberdeau and Dan's pick because he had the number 1 overall with the intent of drafting Sergachev. And when he kept him, it threw off my entire plan.
Well, and that explains why you've had the worst season you've ever had. It's all
That's it.
Paul's
It all
fault.
started from Sergachev.
Blame Paul, I guess.
Paul's been a needle in my side since the beginning.
I'm not 100% sure if he listens, but he's been taking a beating these playoffs on our podcast
Has he?
from us.
Well, because he's winning. Like, we all love Paul.
Of course.
He's
Of
the
course.
best dungeon master there is.
That is without a doubt. So he's moving on to the final, and who will he play? He will play Garrett. Garrett won 78.7
The
to
Garrett we all should have
68.
backed. No press release from the Tyler Bay Lightning.
Nothing. They
Silence.
Ty actually led until Thursday.
Yeah.
So he led for most of the week, and then Thursday's when Garrett took over and brought it home through the weekend. Alex DeBrincat on his side of things with a 7.9 point week, picked up player of the week.
So
And
what happened to Ty's team? What went wrong? He was
it
projected to go high.
JT Miller, 8.2 player of the week, but Landeskog, nothing. Reinhardt, nothing.
Only one person. Oh, Hagel. Was Hagel injured last week? No, he got 6.10 points.
Yeah, he is
Recent
now, I
Marchman.
think.
What about goaltending?
Nothing from Spencer Knight.
There it
Vasilevsky
is.
with a 3-pointer week.
Spencer Knight was a
And
draft pick for my brother as well.
oh yeah,
No, he picked him up off waivers. That's a lie.
added from free agents.
He got him just before I could. I thought he was the backup for Florida. So I need to learn how to read. And here I am trying to teach a toddler how to read.
Yeah, just a lot of ones and twos looking at this.
Looking at the projected 75, how far is he? About 6 points
Kaprizov
short.
with a 1. Like, you're expecting more from Kaprizov.
Yeah, the big controversial trade piece.
Mm-hmm.
More like an albatross.
Kucherov, who, we're still going to give him the nod for MVP, I think, with only a 3-point week here. Yeah, so that's what went wrong.
Did Tampa Bay not play a lot? Yeah, he didn't play for 2 games, so that would hurt him.
Yeah, that'll do it.
The third game
Oh, yeah. Yes, he was sick.
There you go.
So there you go. So we're moving on to, we're in the midst of the championship final. It's Garrett and Paul, and as of right this moment, 33.8 to 22.9 for Paul. The projections, as much as we put into those, 86 for Paul, 66 for Garrett. One thing to note though, and that's I gotta scroll up to find
Go back to the standings, regular standings.
That's where it
I know
is.
what you're looking for.
Garrett has
7 moves.
7 moves left. I didn't mean to click on his team.
Standings, go back to standings. There you
go. Yeah, Paul has 5 left.
Oh.
So
use
Garrett
those
has
moves, Garrett.
Yeah, he has some options there, and Paul's been using his.
Yeah, there you go.
Garrett's been using
goalies.
his. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, It's not over yet, Garrett. You can do this, buddy. You can do this. But it's been fairly tight this week, but I do believe that Paul started with the lead. No, Garrett started with the lead on Monday. Paul,
You got 18 points in a night.
yeah,
Go back to that. Go wait before you bump off that to tonight.
sorry. Yeah, 18 points,
And he still lost points from Ottinger. Yeah, Seth Jones got him 4 points.
4 from Verhey.
Carter Verhage got him 4 points.
Yeah.
See any other
Everyone,
Florida players? Verhage, Seth Jones,
Seth Jones, yeah.
Braden Point. He's got
Goalies are Ottinger's minus 1.5, but oh, the Sabres, the official team of the
official
podcast.
team. Go Sabres, go. Is that what we call it? We don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go Sabres, go.
go Sabres, go. 2.1 there, so evening it out a little bit to his favor there. So yeah, so then we head into tonight. Obviously, Paul's ahead, and
Slow night for
not 1-2-1-2s on nothing, 2-0. Slow night for Garrett so far.
yeah. That's it.
So he's gonna have to see some more tonight. And he's already moved on
Yeah,
onto another goalie. So there you go. Paul's already onto goalie number 3 there. So yeah. You're gonna have to use your moves in this round to get the championship, that's for sure. And it looks like they're doing it. So this will be fun to watch through the weekend. And we can come back and we can either claim. Here's the thing. If Garrett wins, and this is well, let's start with Paul because I want to talk about Garrett for a second. Paul wins. That's another championship. This is his 4th championship final in a row. We get it, Paul. You're good at fantasy hockey.
Is his 4th championship in a row? That can't be right.
No, his his 4th appearance in the final.
Oh, I see.
He lost the last 2 and won in 2022. So.
And then I beat him before that.
That was Marcel.
That was Marcel. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So he wasn't.
So
he wasn't even top 3 that year. He was rebuilding.
Yeah, that was Rick in 3rd that year. So, yeah. So that was his retooling year. But so you have on one side, the Paul, we're tired of you winning. We make jokes about it on here all the time kind of thing. With Garrett, he is in our fantasy baseball league, the defending champion. If he wins this, even though we're all kind of pulling for him and all that, you know what? I'll just say it straight up. I'm pulling for him to win.
We're both named Garrett. There's a bond there I can't break again.
Right. So is that the moment, though, where the jumping the shark moment? If Garrett pulls out back-to-back championships in the 2 fantasy sports leagues that he's in, or does Garrett go from the favorite to okay, that's enough from you?
No, I don't think so.
Not yet.
The
It's not
baseball
enough.
fantasy league doesn't count.
Wow.
This is the Money Sauce podcast where we cover fantasy hockey.
Mhm.
So, no, I don't think if he wins, to answer your question, if he wins this, he doesn't go from like the underdog to like the most hated. He has a target on his back. He's a champion, but like it doesn't.
He's not joining Paul and
No,
Ty in
no,
that category.
No. If he won it twice, if he won it again next year,
Okay,
then he'd move into like Tyler territory.
yeah.
Like, ha ha ha. Okay, now back of the line, so maybe Paul Smith can win a championship.
Or Jeremy. Jeremy would like just one of these years. That's the next question then on that topic. Is Marcel in that category? Because I feel like he's not in the category of
He is
Ty
for
and
me only
Paul.
because we've faced off in the final or playoffs a few times.
Okay. Marcel just has a soft spot in my heart, I guess. What can I say?
He's always done well though.
He's always done well, but I
Always done
certainly
well.
don't feel like I'm sick of Marcel being good all the time, like I do with Paul and Ty. And I
He's good
really,
all the time, but when did he win the championship?
I think that's the big difference there, right?
Right?
Like he,
He hasn't won it yet in Yahoo. Because he really hasn't. Sorry to call you out, Marcel, but he hasn't really been as successful in our transfer to Yahoo.
that's fair. That is fair. I have a very basic website where I keep the history because of crazy shit like what happened in 2020. And also
Breakingish news.
I wanted
We're
to
bringing the
this is
segment back.
that's not news. I've maintained this thing since we moved from Yahoo or since we moved to Yahoo because I didn't want to completely lose the
So there is
history.
information from ESPN years
Yeah.
on this website.
Yes. But
Can you share the website?
just
PHL.
fantasy hockey.
This is all one word.
Yep. Dot
Mm-hmm.
Weebly W-E,
Weebly.
yeah, WEEBLY
Yeah.
.com. It is very basic, but you get a year by year history and a owner
When
history.
you said very basic, I was expecting like GeoCities to be a
Here,
sponsor.
I'm just gonna put it on our screen right here. So,
Owners and numbers of championship.
yeah, and then we've got the year by year history
Oh
where
wow.
2020, what Yahoo is calling 2020 is actually 2021. So they're doing it as the year that it starts.
You're gonna have to amend. Oh, 2012. Wow.
And
Total
I'm doing it
points.
as the
Ah,
year,
see,
yeah, that it ends.
I forgot about some of these names.
So 2021, yes, District 5, that Dave won the championship. It was 2020 where COVID, the NHL suspended play. We had no fantasy playoff games. So the final overall regular season standing ended up being the champion, and that was the last time that Marcel was a champion. So he has not won a championship in Yahoo to get back to that. You messaged me this week,
I do
and
tend to do that from time to time.
yeah, but that message was specifically was about how the TSN Overdrive guys clearly listen to our podcast.
Well, we had mentioned about the history of New York goalies and just
Yeah.
like the great string of goalies they had with Mike Richter, Henrik Lundqvist, and Igor Shesterkin.
Hmm.
And then like the next day or the day after, whenever I messaged you,
Hmm.
they were talking about the same thing.
Hmm.
And so I messaged you, as you said. I'm
Hmm.
like, hey, they must be listening to we must have 13 fans. Because the three guys on Overdrive were borrowing our topics, which I'm fine with.
Oh yeah. I
Just
mean,
enough to go around.
I said lawyer up, but okay, they can borrow.
No, there's no read for lawyers.
No, I'm kidding, of course, of course.
That's ridiculous.
But what I did was
I
I
don't want
had
to
a
bring into the fact all the plagiarizing we do by just having articles
yeah,
shown.
exactly. Don't draw attention. What I did though is I had a look at the Rangers goalie history to see if there actually was something to it. So, just so you know, before I share my screen again here, in 2026-27, so next season, the Rangers will be 100 years old. That will be their 100th season.
Oh, congratulations.
So, assuming Igor,
Who?
why can I not say people's
Why do you
names?
hate Russians?
Uh,
No.
I grew up listening to Don Cherry, I guess.
Igor Shesterkin.
Shesterkin,
Unless it's
thank you.
Shesterkin
Yeah, I'm struggling there, but
or Shesterkin.
assuming he's starting next year,
right? Which
over
is a
the
safe bet.
100 seasons,
Yeah.
the Rangers have had 18 starters
Wait.
and 2 seasons of trying out like everyone in the system, it seems.
Okay.
Let's go through it quickly.
Now, before you do that,
Okay.
do you have another team we can compare it against?
I do
So it's
not.
not just an isolation. Okay. So we
I
don't
do
know
not.
if 18 is a low number or an average number. But if you do the math, that works out to be a different
Five-ish.
starter every, what'd you say, 5 years, 6 years?
Ish, yeah. So 100 divided by, what did we say? 18 is 5. Yeah. 5.5555 per
Yeah,
peanut.
okay.
So let's
So we
say
were both right.
let's say 5. The Rangers entered the NHL in the 1926-27 season, and Lorne Chabot, I
Oh,
believe,
Thomas Chabot's grandfather.
was the starting goaltender for the first couple seasons. From 1928 till 1931, John Ross Roach played in net. From 32 to 34, so only a couple seasons, Andy Aikenhead. 34 to 42, Dave Kerr. Then in 1942-43, they had 4 different goalies that were starters.
Okay.
And with that in mind, I should note that obviously these goalies did not play every single game, but they started the majority of games.
Right.
43, 44, and 44, 45, Ken McCauley. 45, 46, 2, 51, 52, Chuck Rayner. 52 to 63, it was Gump Worsley, except for the 1953-54 season when Johnny Bower was the starting goalie. And if I remember it correctly, he started every single game that year. And I think it must have been that Worsley was injured or something like that, and he was gone for the season. They moved on to Jacques Plante for 63, 64, and 64, 65. Then you had Ed Giacomin. I have no idea how to say his name, but for 65, 66 to 1970. In 1970, he split the job with Gilles Villemur, I believe. And that happened all the way through 75. John Davidson, 75 to 79. Steve Baker, 80 to 8 and 81. In 82, they had 6 different goalies as starters, but then we move into the era that I think speaks to what we were talking about last week. So 1984-85, John Van Beesbrook became the starter, and he continued through until the 91-92 season when he split time with Mike Richter. Mike Richter took over in 92 and went all the way through till 2002. So 10 years of Mike Richter, basically. Then they had a little blip in between Lundqvist and him with Mike Dunham for 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Lundqvist took over in 2025. No, that's not right. That's 2005. That's a typo on my. It's 2005, and he kept the net until 2019. And in 2019, here we are. Igor's back, and it has been the goalie ever since. So basically, in our lifetime, the Rangers have had 5 starting goalies, and Mike Dunham was only a 2-year like experiment that clearly didn't last. So
Mm-hmm.
for about 40 years, it's really been Van Viesbuk, Richter, Lundqvist, and Shesterkin.
So they've had four goalies over the last 40 years.
All right, we'll be back next week because we have a champion to announce.
That's right. And tune in for more sweet listening to us ask AI questions.
That's right.
The sweet sound of us typing.
I love it. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Now to this website.
The Money Sauce Podcast with your hot saucy J and G.